Now, Walker. Hi, my little flavors. Welcome to another episode of the Motley Stew Show, where we try to look at one of the bigger stories from the world of news and politics, try to listen a little bit outside of the echo chamber and see what's really going on. Now that the first GOP debate is officially behind us, I really wanted to do a whole show just on that, but I haven't actually gotten introduction videos done for each of those candidates, at least the ones that count, so let's jump right back into that. Today we're going to get a refresher course on the good old Midwest conservative from Wisconsin, Governor Scott Walker. Now, being one of the fairly young candidates on stage, Walker has that youthful swagger that the GOP has been missing in the last two election cycles. But he's not the only one this time around who has it. Rubio, Paul, Cruz, Jindal, all of them kind of have that same bravado right now. So Walker will need to find more than just being the younger guy. Now, for those who don't know Walker very well, he skyrocketed to national political fame by being elected in a purple state 3 times in a very short period of time. He even survived a very national and very widely publicized recall effort when hundreds of thousands of his own citizens turned against him to pull him out of office after he brutally attacked the unions in that state. But luckily for him, after that win and another very close bitter re-election fight, conservatives from all across the nation looked to him as one of their own who could take a beating and still stand up. But politics isn't a new thing for Walker. He's not just someone who got talked into doing this. He's been at this reportedly since he was 8 years old. An even more telling piece of his history is that he doesn't even have a college degree, because some people say he spent too much of his senior year campaigning to be class president. Now, through those bitter union fights, Scott Walker has put on this image of himself being a fiscal and small government guy, and actually at one point even saying that social issues were a distraction. But now that he's running for national office, that's changed, and social issues are front and center. But these conservative social viewpoints are not new to him. They can be seen in his political history as well. Back in 1997, when he was just a state representative, he and 34 other legislators put in a bill that would actually make it legal for a doctor who is personally pro-life to lie to his patient, to lie to a pregnant woman if he had discovered that the baby had either genetic abnormalities or developmental disorders. The reason being that that mother may then decide to have an abortion when she is well within the time frame to do so. So in Walker's world, that doctor should be allowed to just tell the woman, nope, your baby's just perfectly fine. Whereas currently, if that doctor openly lies to a patient, that doctor can be held liable for the entire lifetime of medical needs of that child. Now, back in 1997, that bill failed to even come up for a vote, but that didn't dissuade Walker. In 2001, he brought the same legislation back up again, and it failed again. Now, for someone who considers himself small government and who hates Obamacare because it puts the government in between the doctor and the patient, this seems more than just a little hypocritical. But it is all part of his story of trying to shore up his conservative social bona fides. Even just a few weeks ago, he passed a 20-week abortion ban in Wisconsin, one of the shortest in the nation, and based it all around the highly questionable idea of fetal pain. Now, many doctors have come out to say that this is not true, that fetal pain can't be registered at 20 weeks, and it's closer to 27 weeks, but that hasn't stopped the conservative anti-abortion movement by using this as a weapon to get the legal abortion timeframe moved down. Previously, he passed a bill requiring all women seeking an abortion to get a medically unnecessary ultrasound, where that doctor would be legally bound to describe in detail what he sees on that screen, even if the woman is looking away. Now, there is nothing diagnostic or health related in this bill. This is purely done for one reason and one reason only: to shame and guilt the woman seeking the abortion. But Walker defends this bill by saying he just feels women need more information, as if these patients coming in seeking abortions were just coming in between a shopping trip at Kohl's and a drive-through snack attack at Taco Bell. It's offensive to any woman out there who's actually had an abortion, and it's equally offensive to all women, saying that basically you don't have the capability to make this decision on your own, as if you have no idea what a baby is and how it's made. Oh, and he also added, ultrasounds are just a cool thing. Personal note, I wonder if he thinks rectal exams are also cool, because those are at least medically helpful. And continuing in this idea of anti-abortion, he's also defunded Planned Parenthood in his state, where in this current political cycle that actually could win him some points. Now, moving away from the social issues back to the financial ones, Walker is currently embroiled in a huge fight in his state over a proposed new stadium for the NBA team, the Milwaukee Bucks. The league and the team have threatened to leave Wisconsin if they don't actually build a new stadium to replace the one that they're playing in now, which is 27 years old. But Walker just rammed through a bill to make sure that the taxpayers in his state foot much of the $250 million share of building that stadium. Now, Democrats and conservatives alike are going nuts about this, even as far up the GOP food chain as the Koch brothers, godfathers of the conservative moneybags. They have come out against this plan, saying for someone who considers himself small government, he should realize that the government should have nothing to do with building private stadiums for sports franchises, that if the team wants to leave, let them. But Walker's retort to that is that it will actually cost the state less if they pony up the $250 million now than if the team leaves and they'll lose all that revenue for years to come. But economists aren't buying that plan either. In the proposed plan, Walker shows tax revenue coming from those multi-million-dollar players on that team, but economists have pointed out that much of that money is actually funneled out of state because those players also have vacation homes and they tend to spend more frivolously when they're not playing. Also, Walker plans to raise a chunk of change from collecting on old debts in the state, from parking tickets and late taxes, and adding penalties to those. Again, economists are saying this won't bear fruit because much of the money that he thinks he's going to collect on late fees and penalties is coming from the poor and the indigent, people who can't pay those anyway. He's likely to collect less than 2% of what the state is owed. Oh, and did I mention this one thing? That he actually cut the state's educational budget by $250 million, almost the exact same amount that the state has to pony up for that stadium. And on the same day he said he was moving forward with building the new stadium, his super PAC got a $150,000 donation from John Hams, one of the team's owners. Yeah, let's just let that sink in for a second. But after all that, let's just jump into where he stands now. At the Fox News debate, he was in the number 3 or maybe the number 2 spot. He was right next to Donald Trump. Him and Jeb Bush were on either side of the Donald. But they decided both to pretty much lay low and let Trump explode and the rest of the field yell loud enough to get noticed. And both of those things happened, but the results are probably not what Walker wanted. In Iowa, a primary state that he sorely needs to win, he was leading this for months and months out, but now he's 3rd and dropping. Here's what the recent poll said as of today. Trump at 22%, Carson at 14%, Walker at 9%, Cruz at 8%, Fiorina and Huckabee at 7%, Bush, Paul, and Rubio at 5%, Christie at 3%, Graham, Jindal, and Kasich at 2%, Perry and Santorum at 1%. Everybody else doesn't matter. If this backslide continues for Walker, he will fall out of being a presidential candidate and be looked at as either a VP candidate or nothing at all. The way he's handled his state in the last few months with his head pretty much on the national game and not on his state at all, I don't think he's got a very nice future back at home. Right now, for me, I think Walker's biggest issue is he's spread really thin. He's socially conservative, but there are ones even more so out there. And he's fiscally alongside the establishment, but again, there are ones who are even closer to the establishment. His big point is he's got name recognition over a lot of the other field, and he definitely has Fox News in his corner. They are head over heels for him, so publicity from them will ever be in his favor. But he is going to run headlong into the Bush bank account, which dwarfs his own. So we'll see where he turns at that point. So the question is, what do you think of Governor Walker and his chances? Is he too conservative? Is he not conservative enough? Would he make a good VP choice? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks again for watching another episode of the Motley Stew Show. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is the button that will do it. I can guarantee that if you do click that button, your video feed will grow by 1 video a week. Maybe more. Isn't that fun? You can also like, favorite, or share this video with anyone that you think might want to join in the discussion. Stay tuned for next week, and as always, here's a little bit of Logan.
Ready?
Now, for those who don't know Walker very well, he's skyrocketed to national fame and potential That's not national political fame. But now that he's running a national election, that's changed, and but these